Hey everyone, it's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 90 of our WWE 2022 Save and TEW 2020. This is Raw for January, week 4, the go-home edition before the Royal Rumble. And yes, I know if you've been a long-time watcher of this series, you've been waiting a long time for this episode based on, of course, taking a couple months off from the channel and such, but excited to jump back into it. I will let you know as a little teaser, I have just finished planning out the entire women's and men's Royal Rumble matches. And yes, we will do them. Some of you will like this, maybe some of you won't. We will do them 1 through 30, and we will go through the entire thing. I will explain the storylines, who's getting eliminated by who. There will be lots of fun with both of these matches, so that will make the Royal Rumble likely a 2-part video. Once we do that, just to kind of break up, we'll probably break it up after the Women's Rumble will be part 1. Then we'll have the second part of the show with the Men's Rumble as part 2, because those matches will be a little bit longer because we will go through them 1 through 30, and that will make it a little bit more excited. And if you've been invested in the series for a while, I think it will be a fun payoff just based on the little storyline threads we'll be tying into both of those matches. So it took a while, but I'm excited, and I'm excited for this episode of Raw, because it should be a good one. So let's jump into the pre-show. Dijak gets a win over Drew Gulak, 722. 55 overall in this one, if you remember, and I'm going to probably say the phrase, if you remember a lot. I did do a look back in episode 89, so if you want to watch that, we did kind of an overview of where things are. But if you remember, Dijak has been kind of on a roll here recently, both in tag team action and in singles action on the pre-show. What will that mean moving forward? You guys usually know that I don't do anything just for any reason. There is a reason Dijak is on a bit of a roll here, and we will get to that eventually. So he gets another win here on the pre-show. All right, main show. We jump in with an 86 rating, so a nice start here. It is Randy Orton, and we see Randy Orton with our WWE Champion Edge. And Orton just kind of comes up and says, Edge, I apologize, because recently we had the tag team match. Edge and Christian teamed up on Raw for the first time in a long, long time. But they lost to Big E and Sheamus after Orton thought he was helping out Christian, but in turn, or helping out Edge and Christian. In turn, he accidentally grabbed Christian's leg, and as we know, Randy Orton and Christian have been going back and forth basically since Armageddon, since Edge brought Christian in as the mystery partner to go up against the Bullet Club, and so they've had their issues. But Orton just makes it clear, look, we have the same goal in mind. I want you to continue to be the WWE champion, just as we put it in place at SummerSlam. Whenever, I gave Daniel Bryan an RKO, you cashed in and became the WWE champion. We're still on the same page. And so it's Orton just kind of maybe just letting his guard down here and saying, hey, I'm sorry. Let's get back on the same page. We all have the same goal. I'm not trying to win the Royal Rumble to beat you for the championship. I'm just trying to help you. And that's Orton's message here. Edge seems to accept it. So these two do well together as always. 86 for this one. So perhaps a little bit calmer now things are with Edge and Randy Orton. We'll see if it stays that way. All right, and then we start off with a match here. And if you think Ricochet's getting a win, please get out of here. No, in all seriousness, Rey Fenix gets the win over Ricochet, 8-10-77. So a great start here for this one. The fact that Ricochet gets a 77 match, we should always applaud that. Now, you would have to watch the entire series to know why I keep taking shots at Ricochet here, because he has been hated in our series by pretty much everyone in-game. Steve Austin emails us all the time talking about how much he can't stand the guy. We've had other people, so we moved him to SmackDown, but then he won the Tag Team Championship with Jeff Hardy. So now they're able to jump to Raw, and of course they're going to have the Tag Team Ladder match at the Royal Rumble against the Lucha Brothers for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships. But here, he gets pinned by Rey Fenix. Fenix with an 81 in-ring performance, so that's pretty good. Kind of your basic just singles match we set up we thought would be fun, and that's really all there is to it as we lead into that tag team match at the Royal Rumble, which will be notable for perhaps a variety of reasons. All right, backstage, it is Pat McAfee with Bayley, and Bayley is going to defend the Raw Women's Championship against Rhea Ripley in a big match that's been a long time coming at the Royal Rumble. And McAfee just kind of questions Bayley's confidence because, Pat just says, hey, I saw it in your face last week when Rhea Ripley did kind of the countdown and just started going, tick-tock, tick-tock. I could see your face. you don't seem confident heading into this match. And that's when Bayley just kind of gives him a look and just says, Pat, I always know what I'm doing. I've got a plan. I will walk out as the Raw Women's Champion. I'm not even thinking about entering the Royal Rumble because the loser, of course, is going to be in the Women's Royal Rumble match. But Bayley just says she's very confident. She's got a plan. And that's when she says she has to go take care of some business. So Bayley, perhaps more confident than we think heading into this match that, she basically postponed at Armageddon, but she seems to be a little more confident this week in her ability to beat Rhea Ripley. We'll see if that happens. 72 for this one. All right, and then we get a video package announcing Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, and Angel Garza for the Royal Rumble. Now, of course, this is interesting because we've had some back and forth between all three of these guys over the past month or so, and it's been Rey trying to just keep Garza away from Dominic, and because Rey and Garza clearly not on the same page, perhaps. More Rey, it seems, as Garza's been trying to give some motivation to Dominic, perhaps. But we see Rey, kind of explaining what it would mean for him to win the Royal Rumble. Of course, he had his shot way back when at Edge, but that was when the Lucha Brothers made their debut. They ruined Rey's opportunity at the championship. So we get kind of these interviews we've done. We've kind of done these three at a time. Rey explaining what his intentions are in the Rumble match, wanting to get back to being at WrestleMania in the main event. And then Dominic, talking about how big of an opportunity this is for him to really, be able to kind of prove that he's the next in line in the Mysterio family here. He can be the next legend. So Dominic wants to have his chance, perhaps at WrestleMania, to compete for the championship. And then it's Garza, who kind of talks about the Rumble a little bit, but then he goes into talking about, hey, I don't know why Rey Mysterio is unhappy with me. Like, I'm just trying to help Dominic out here, and perhaps we can solve all of this at the Royal Rumble. Perhaps we can all work together in this match to be able to all come out as victors here. So Garza really playing that up. He's just not understanding why Rey does not like him. Trying to give some tips to Dominic, really motivate him and inspire him. So we'll see what happens with those three. 62 for this one. All right, and then we get a little bit more action here. We had a lot to pack into this show, so how I am with my angles. We had to get a lot into this one. But we'll be more main event focused on our big championship match, which our trios match we're going to have there. 6-man tag action in our main event. As we know, it's going to be Daniel Bryan, Big E, and Cesaro against Edge, Christian, and Randy Orton. So that was kind of the motivation behind that earlier segment too. But Sheamus heading to the ring. He's going to scout Keith Lee because that is our Intercontinental Championship match of the Rumble. So Sheamus heads out to get ready to watch Keith Lee's match against, let's get to 70. And Keith Lee's not losing on the road to the Rumble as he gets the win over Dolph Ziggler, 7:59 using the Spirit Bomb, 72 for this one. So another fine match here thus far. I mean, that's what we always said, like our go-home shows are usually not that great from a rating standpoint. I think this will be one of our better go-home shows just with the ratings we're going to have for the matches. We've got some pretty good matches in store. Still got several good ones to come. So nice to see Keith Lee get a win here. And again, just kind of setting up Sheamus, scouting him, and knowing what's on the line for Sheamus, trying to get that championship that's eluded him in WWE, the Intercontinental title. Should be a great match at the Rumble. All right, then we get a video package looking at Johnny Gargano's road to the United States title match. Gets a 69 here, nice rating. As, we know Gargano came in, he had the match against Kevin Owens, goes to kind of the finish there where neither man wins, gets to the draw, and so now he's earned the opportunity, just like Owens and just like The Miz, who will be in that four-way match with Sami Zayn, the United States Championship, another one of our undercard matches at the Royal Rumble. So as we said, kind of stack card, the Rumble. We got those two big Rumble matches, but we got some pretty exciting undercard matches as well. So we got a lot of good stuff to pack into that show. So just get a video package looking at Gargano and kind of his road here to the United States title match. Look at some of his highlights in NXT and that very memorable match against Kevin Owens that he had as well. So 69 for this one. Good stuff they had at Armageddon. We'll see what happens at the Rumble and if Gargano can come out victorious and become the new U.S. champion. All right, then we go straight to Owens because, as we said, he will be involved in that as well. And it's Owens coming out to the ring, and, he told Steve Austin last week he had something to say. And he says, look, that United States Championship is mine. No one, and I mean no one, has worked harder than me, has wrestled more than me over the past, 6 months. And again, remember, Kevin Owens has been doing the Open Challenge a lot. Now, it hasn't happened every single week, but he's had a lot of matches. And so Owen, what he's saying here is true. And he gets an 89. He's fantastic on the mic, as we know. But he says that's priority, number one, is I'm going to get back my title because as I've proven before, I'm a fighting champion. That's my championship that was stolen away from me by Sami Zayn. And then he says, let me remind everyone else too, though, that when I do win my United States Championship, I'm going to take it and I'm going to walk out there into the Royal Rumble. I don't care what number I draw, but I am going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania with my United States Championship, and I'm going to become the WWE Champion at WrestleMania. So, Kevin Owens, again, we've been really building this up with all of our kind of top stars here that have to be considered some of the favorites to win the Rumble. Owens, certainly in that category, and he makes it clear, yes, he's going to win that United States title back, but he also plans to go out there, win the Royal Rumble, and become the WWE Champion. So we'll see if that happens. 89 for this one for Kevin Owens. All right, this match did not do as well as some of the others, but I suppose still gets a 68, which is not bad. It's a short match. I think we had to use, I don't know if we used storytelling on this or not. No, maybe we did regular match. I don't remember exactly what we used, but here we go. Sorry, regular. Yeah, we did regular. Becky gets a 94 for in-ring performance, which is just ridiculous. But so she and Shotzi have good chemistry, so that helps a little bit. The lack of psychology hurts here. But we've kind of been bringing up some NXT talent, which of course Shotzi still been in NXT. So we've kind of been bringing up some different people to put them against Becky and others just as kind of a showcase. But Becky gets the win. This is nothing more than just, giving Becky a victory on the road to the Rumble here, as certainly she will be one of the favorites to win the Women's Rumble. So 68 here for this one. More about what comes after, because after we come back from the commercial break, we get a camera, and here it is, as it is Becky heading back from their match. And as she gets into the backstage area, she goes face-to-face with Rhea Ripley. And this gets a tremendous rating here, 89 for this. And, these two go face-to-face. If you remember, our Mae Young Classic final last year was Becky Lynch against Rhea Ripley. Everyone probably remembers that match, but I know you probably remember that that event more so for what happened after the match with Roman Reigns. But that was sort of a classic match between these two. And so we get a possible tease here of these two just kind of in each other's face, knowing, hey, Becky could win the Rumble, Rhea could win the title, and we could be right back to that match yet again, given the star power involved. So we just kind of tease the rematch. Becky just continues walking, and Rhea just kind of turns around and looks at her as she walks away. So a little tease there, perhaps, of what's to come. A lot of possible combinations that could get us back to this match. Could they both be in the Royal Rumble? Of course, the loser of Bayley, Rhea Ripley will be in the Rumble. We know Becky will be there. So lots of things to think about on that one. 89 for this one. All right, and then as we see that, we see Sasha Banks, who's kind of staring at the screen, and she has just seen Becky and Rhea Ripley kind of interact here as she's watching Raw. Why don't more superstars do that, right? You get a lot more information that way. But she's watching Raw, and Pat McAfee walks up, because McAfee's everywhere, and he wants to know, Sasha, you've said it recently. You came out and confronted Becky Lynch. You told her, you're tired of not being mentioned in the same category as her. Are you still confident heading into the Royal Rumble? Because we know you're going to be in it. We know Naomi's going to be in the Rumble, who just came over to Raw in the trade. And Sasha just tells Pat McAfee, Pat, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm tired of people doubting me. I'm tired of people not putting me in the same category as Becky Lynch and all these other legends. Trish Stratus coming back, Lita coming back. I've beaten them before. Of course, she beats Lita in the Mae Young Classic. I'm tired of it. And so Sasha's just very confident. And then she says, all of these women will get what they have coming to them. And that's when she reminds Pat again, Pat, I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat it once again. The difference this time around is that I've got some help. And that's when Sasha and Naomi walk away, and Pat's just kind of left there standing. So 67 for this one, and Sasha, another one that's very confident heading into the Royal Rumble. All right, and then another match here. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so we got this note, and I think it's because I think we've said this before. So technically, Chad Gable, we still have to list him as a heel, because if we would have turned him, it was because of when they started in the game, you would get the note or whatever saying it's way too early to turn him. We're almost there. We're almost to the point where we actually turn him. Now, we've been presenting him as a babyface, but this is the best we can do. So we put Kurt Angle as his manager. So what we can actually do, and we may have mentioned this before, I don't remember, we can just take Angle off as his manager, even though we know Angle's accompanying him, all that, right? We just have to kind of play with it. But it gets to 76, so a good match here. But it is Adam Cole getting the win over Chad Gable. We've been playing this up, kind of the tension there, as the Bullet Club have kind of had their fun with Chad Gable. Balor's already beaten him. Now Cole beats him. So now a losing streak for Gable, who's was doing so well under Kurt Angle's tutelage here. But now he loses to both Bullet Club members, Cole and Balor. And so, what's happening here? He's got to be able to figure it out. But Kurt Angle does some good work at ringside, so we just got to eventually, once we get that note taken away where it's okay to turn Gable, we will officially do that. And again, for now, we'll just take Kurt Angle off as his manager. If he gets to 76, this is more about the post-match, because after the match, it is AJ and Balor who are there. Bullet Club stick together, as we know, and they start to taunt Chad Gable and Kurt Angle. Once again, it is AJ Styles getting in Kurt Angle's face, and the Bullet Club just taunting these two. After Cole gets the win, as we said, Balor already has a win over Gable, and they're just kind of getting up in their face, taunting him. And we can see Kurt Angle trying to whisper something. We just cannot make out what Angle's saying. Angle's frustrated. He's angry. He's just kind of leaning over, checking on Gable, while these three stand around him. And we can see Angle whispering something. We just have no idea what he's saying. But they just continue. The Bullet Club continue to do their thing. They're bullying him. And then they're just kind of standing there when the music hits, and here comes Montez Ford, because we know we have a match set between Montez Ford and Finn Balor. So this gets a 73. That takes us right into the match between Montez Ford and Finn Balor. So a little backup here for Angle and Gable. So that kind of gets everybody separated again, but we go straight into the next match, which is Montez Ford and Chad Gable. Another fine match here, 76. But this one gets going, pretty heated match. These two kind of working on a sprint here. We did do regular here, but we get to the 10-minute mark. Both guys kind of, back and forth, a lot of counters, and it works to the double pinfall, which, as I've said before, I try not to use these draw finishes a lot, but there's a reason we're using it for this one. It will not be on full display for a little while, but we needed to do that here. So we go to the double pinfall, so the referee counts double pin. It goes to a draw, but he gets a 76. And look, it's kind of that point where Ford, as we know, has been at the breaking point given what happened to him in that match against Edge. He had the championship won. Austin has to overturn the decision after the referee points out that Edge had his foot on the rope after Ford pinned him. And so that has kind of led to Ford just kind of changing his attitude a bit. And so another double pinfall here. So he comes up short because he doesn't win the match. He doesn't lose it, but he can't beat Finn Balor. And so after the match, that essentially sets off Montez Ford, because afterwards, it's the Bullet Club getting into the ring. They're ready to taunt Montez Ford the same way they just did Chad Gable and Kurt Angle. Dawkins is there, of course, supporting Ford. And that's when we just see Montez Ford, kind of the opposite of what we saw with Angle and Gable. Ford pops up, and he just goes off. Ford starts hauling off on Cole. He hauls off on Balor, goes after Styles. He's got some backup here from Angelo Dawkins. That sends the Bullet Club retreating. And then it is Montez Ford who just yells over and says, "Give me a mic." And that's when he says, "I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. I have to win the Royal Rumble. I don't have a choice. This is all I have. I have to win because I'm going to get my hands back on that WWE Championship, and I'm going to get my hands on all three of you at the Royal Rumble." So Montez Ford has really been more kind of a determined attitude after that loss to Edge, having everything just kind of, in his hands. He had his dream. It was all there. but it got taken away from him, ripped away, and now he has turned his attention to the Rumble, and he says he's going to win it, and he's going to go after the Bullet Club in the process. So 75 here for this one. More kind of, interesting stuff as we head towards the Royal Rumble match. All right, and then here we go. So Steve Austin, our general manager, in his office, and he gets a knock at the door. It is none other than Christian, and that is when Christian comes in. Austin's busy. He says, Christian, look, I'm on the phone. I'm working on something here. I'm working on some big things for the Rumble and the big things after the Rumble. I don't have time to talk to you right now. But Christian says, look, Steve, I just need 5 seconds. He says, here's all I want to say. I just want you to do one thing. I just need you to ban Randy Orton from ringside for the WWE Championship match between Edge and Daniel Bryan. I don't trust him. I don't want him there. And I just need you to know that. And I need you to do your job. You cannot let Randy Orton be ringside, because you remember what happened at SummerSlam with what happened with, Orton costing Daniel Bryan. I think he's going to cost Edge the championship this time. I want him out of there. And Austin's just looking at his watch saying, that was more than 5 seconds. I'll let you know my decision, but you're not going to come in here and tell me what to do. You better get out to the ring, because you got your 6-man tag team match coming up. And Austin just basically kicks Christian out. But Christian comes in wanting Austin to ban Randy Orton. Of course, the back and forth continues here. 91 for this one. But the more interesting dynamic here is that we go next, and we'll get back to Christian in a second. Pat McAfee, once again, he's back. 91 as well for this one, so another good segment here. McAfee is with the trio that we have used before, and of course we've seen them in singles action together, and now they're going to team up yet again, as McAfee wants to know, Daniel Bryan, Big E, Cesaro, what are your mindsets ahead of the Rumble? And, Big E and Cesaro just kind of turn to Bryan, and Bryan just says, look, Pat, I have nothing left to say. Everyone knows this is my chance. This is my last opportunity. My only chance I've had against Edge in singles action to get my championship back that he stole from me. This is it for me. I don't know if I'll get another opportunity. And so Bryan just points that out, makes it clear this is such an important match for him. Big E and Cesaro kind of look at Bryan and just say, hey, we've made our points very clear. We both want to win the Royal Rumble. We've both been right there with a chance. Cesaro's had the championship match against Edge. He got blown out of proportion because of the Bullet Club. He didn't get that opportunity. Big E has been waiting for the opportunity. Nobody's pinned him yet. So they all just kind of point out that they're all there for the same reason, and they're just kind of looking at each other, knowing that, hey, eventually could they cross paths? We'll see. But that's their mindset heading into it, so we get some good stuff here from these three. Again, two favorites, and and Big E and Cesaro, perhaps to win the Rumble. Bryan gets his championship match. A lot on the line for all three. And then, after that, we cut to the entrance area, about to come out to the ring, and here comes Christian. And it is Christian who joins up with Edge and Randy Orton, who are waiting for him. Like, well, where have you been? Where have you been at? And Christian just says, guys, I just want to say something. I apologize for everything that's been going on. Let's put everything in the past. Everybody's on the same page. I just want to apologize to both of you. I know we're all in this for the same reason, and I just want to say I'm sorry. So it's Christian. Orton's just kind of looking at him, and you can tell Orton's just not buying this. But Edge just continues and says, guys, I don't care what either one of you want right this second. We're going to go out to the ring. We're going to win a match because I've got more important things to figure out. I got to figure out how I'm going to keep my championship at the Royal Rumble. That's all I care about right now. I need you two to settle your business because I don't want to deal with it anymore. I appreciate your apologies, but we got to move beyond this because this is about my championship and I need to keep it. So 87 for this. Of course, the funny thing, right, is Christian does all this after going to Austin and saying, I want Orton banned from ringside, but no decision yet from Austin. We'll see what he decides on that. All right, that leads us into our main event, a big one heading into the Royal Rumble, and that is going to unfold with the winners in an 82 match. It is Daniel Bryan, Big E, and Cesaro getting the win over Christian, Edge, and Orton, and it happens after yet again, couldn't really put this into it, but a little more, I forgot to put the miscommunication note, but a little more miscommunication between Randy Orton and Christian, and that leads to Big E hitting the big ending on Christian to get the pin. And so we see Christian as a weakling here, as we've said before. I'm not surprised by that. Christian's got the declining physical ability. But everybody else, right? Look at everyone else's performances. Edge with a 92, Bryan a 91, Orton 84, Cesaro 83, Big E's up to a 79. So everybody performing pretty well here other than Christian. But yeah, this is kind of giving Big E a little momentum here heading into the Royal Rumble. But a little more miscommunication, as we said, with these two. And yet again, it costs Edge a match that he's in. And so not very happy probably with that. 82 for this. Now, as you know, we're not done because after the match, a little miscommunication. These guys are kind of going at it here. But then it's Cesaro trying to get a bit of an upper hand here, knowing that Orton's going to be in the Rumble too. So Cesaro and Orton start fighting into the crowd. So these two are going at it on the outside. They've had their past, of course, as well. And then that's when we see Edge and Christian find their chemistry, which they've always had. It just seems like the Christian-Orton chemistry is not there. They manage to take down Big E, who's already been taken out. Then it's Daniel Bryan alone in the ring, and that's when Edge and Christian get the upper hand. Again, Cesaro's gone, Orton's gone, Big E's down and out after being attacked. That leaves Bryan alone, and these two get the upper hand. They go for the concerto on Daniel Bryan. Again, think about the history, the injury history, all of that. This guy's got a championship match on Sunday. They hit this concerto. We may not have a championship match on Sunday. 90 segment, and then that is when Big E regroups. He comes in. He throws Edge and Christian out. He ducks the chair shots, throws both of these guys out of the ring. And then as Edge had come in after the match, what's sitting right there in the middle of the ring, it's Edge's WWE Championship that is laying right there. And then as Big E goes and regroups with Daniel Bryan, we see Daniel Bryan looking down at the WWE Championship. We see Big E looking down at the WWE Championship. And these two guys lock eyes with each other. And we kind of understand what that means. Eventually, we could get there, right? That could be the combination. If Bryan wins the championship from Edge, if Big E wins the Royal Rumble, perhaps that is your WrestleMania match. We will see if that is how it plays out. But a lot of tension here. That's kind of what we've been building. As you've seen with all of this, it's really building the tension with everyone, not just necessarily, as we said, this obvious stuff we have going on with Christian and Orton and Edge, of course, Edge and Bryan, but it's building that tension between, hey, Bryan and Big E. They have the same goal. We talked about kind of the other people that are in this match. All these guys have the same goals. The tension with the Bullet Club, which have plenty of tension with Edge, Christian, and Orton. There's so many dynamics with this on the Raw side. I think we've done a pretty good job of trying to add all that in here. So 90 overall as we finish the show. And there is kind of your lasting vision here is Big E and Bryan kind of exchanging glances at the championship. Meanwhile, Edge, of course, yelling in the ring to give him his championship. And these two are on the outside. See, Cesaro and Orton are long gone. But kind of a fun, interesting thought there heading into the Royal Rumble. So a 90 segment to finish that one, and 85, easily our best go-home show for Raw, I would think, ever, because usually our go-home shows, we say, are pretty lackluster because we're just trying to get to the pay-per-view, but pretty excited about this one because, after planning the Rumble, I am very excited for you guys to see it play out because there are so many things that we've kind of built into previous episodes that I know you probably will be hard to remember based on the break we had on the channel, but there's a lot of stuff that I will bring up that you may say, oh, I forgot about that, and wow. Yeah, there you go. So that's kind of our goal here, and I just think look, I'm excited about the Women's Rumble match, but I got to be honest. Like, I think the Men's Rumble match will probably exceed the Women's Rumble match in terms of the things we have planned for it, but both of them I think will be a lot of fun for you guys. So there you go, 85 for Raw. Let's see what we get to before we wrap up. All right, so that was Raw. Awesome show. Fantastic reviews, so that's good. Nothing notable here. It doesn't look like in the news section. Let's look at our email real quick. I think these are contracts. We'll go back to that in a second. Actually, let's just look at this first. So Ali, Vic Joseph, we will go ahead and extend those. And oh my God, are you kidding me? An incident involving Ricochet. We could not have planned this any better. Our first show back, and of course there's something happening with Ricochet. Oh, the drug testing policy. Haven't we already? We've already done that one time with this guy, haven't we? Yes, he tested positive in August. So we chose to fine him in August. Oh my, Ricochet, what are you doing, man? Oh, so Well, I think we kind of have to find him again, guys, because the problem is we can't do anything else right now because he's one half of the tag team champions. We can't send him off just yet. It's going to throw off our plans. All right, Ricochet. This is strike 2. All right, strike 2 on Ricochet. Small positive impact. We'll see about that. But yeah, Ricochet's happy. Of course he is. He's the tag team champion, and I didn't send him off somewhere or suspend him or fire him. Oh, if Austin was in charge, he would have fired him. All right, Ricochet, strike 2, man. One more time, and I'm going to let Steve Austin fire him via the stunner. Like, that's the only way to do it. So we'll go back to the stuff, but Ricochet, once again. All right, Chris Jericho's on our short list. Left New Japan of America, that's fine. Kaylee Ray, contract, we need to leave that there because we want to rehire her, of course. Has Austin got an opinion? Do you think it's Ricochet? Do you really think Austin is going to point out Ricochet again? Oh, my gosh. Dominic, oh, wow. So Austin's not a fan of Dijak. Well, apparently Austin's been watching the pre-show. I didn't even think he cared about the pre-show. Well, that's not good because I got some plans for him, Austin. So that one I can't fully agree with you on. Ricochet, I mean, Ricochet's done so much at this point. I can. What do I say? Drug test fees, which seemingly are important because Ricochet's on the roster right now. So there you go for that. Raw gets a 4.13. That's great. But we'll leave Kaylee Ray there. We need to extend her contract. Got a couple contracts there, but there you go. There's Raw, and there's the latest saga in the Ricochet series. But like I said, Royal Rumble, I'm just excited for the Rumble. I'm excited to be back doing these videos and excited for the Rumble. I really am. Like, I think it's going to be one of our most, it's our most extensive show thus far, just given the fact that we're probably going to break it into 2 videos, and it is going to be a little lengthy, just given that we're going to go through each Rumble with every entrant, and I'm going to tell you exactly how it's played out. I think it'll be a lot more fun than just saying, here's who won. I think you guys, it'll be a little more immersive in terms of you're getting to actually see it play out, and that'll help our storylines moving forward too. So I appreciate you guys as always. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. On the next episode of our WWE 2022 series, it will be SmackDown for January Week 4, our go-home edition for that. Then it will be, of course, our preview for the Rumble, which will be a little bit shorter since we just did the look back episode. And then it will be the Royal Rumble coming up after that. So, again, appreciate you guys. Thanks for the great feedback. Hope you enjoyed this kind of return episode, our normal kind of episode for a series. Fun to do one of these again. So, appreciate it as always. And like I said, on the next episode of our WWE 2022 series, it will be SmackDown for Week 4 in January.